Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, welcome back to another Destiny 2 Forsaken video, and in this video we are continuing with the Last Wish raid coverage, this time by going over everything you need to know about the second boss encounter. If you missed the video I uploaded this morning, then I went over how to take down the first boss, KALLI the Corrupted, which just so happens to be the path to the third Seed of Light. But now we are turning our attention to Shuro Chi the Corrupted. Of course, if you do enjoy this video and you do find it helpful, then a like would be super appreciated, and be sure to comment down below if you have any questions. Now, to begin with, this fight is a little more mechanic heavy when compared to the first one, and there are a fair few moving parts to contend with. But as always, once you get your head around the mechanics, it's actually not too bad. I will say that there does seem to be an additional mechanic to this fight that our team didn't quite work out, but since we were able to complete it anyway, it seems that it's more of an optional thing than anything. So I'll discuss it in a moment, but fundamentally, I'll simply cover the steps we took to complete the encounter. Super high level, the fight will have you taking down waves of enemies that surround the boss, all whilst on a timer. Shuro Chi is singing a song, and once the timer runs out and she completes her song, you all die. So after the ads, you use the crystals that surround her to break her impenetrable barrier, and you then use this as your opportunity to deal damage. Once enough damage is dealt, she moves to the next plate, and you repeat the process. You do this a couple of times until you enter a puzzle room, which will see you and your team filling in missing spaces on randomized wall puzzles, which will then activate some moving platforms that allow you to move up to the next level. You move up, repeating this process over and over until eventually you kill the boss. That's the high level summary, but let's start breaking it all down. First things first, the door opens, and you want to fire some sort of crowd control super into the room, otherwise you're just going to get rushed by enemies and completely obliterated. Once the door opens and you enter the room, your 4-minute timer begins. This is your timer to complete the first floor. You take out all the enemy waves, most of them are taken thrall, but there are a few taken knights who spew fire on the ground. They need to die quickly, and there's also a shielded taken knight called the Eye of Riven. Killing this will see an orb dropped, and more on that in just a moment. A tip for each of these ad phases is that if you have a warlock with the new Well of Radiance, having them place that down so that you can all fight from it is an excellent way to deal with the incoming attacks and also the fire that the knights spew out. Just keep in mind that if 2 knights send the fire attack out and they stack it, the well can't out-heal 2 stacks of fire, only 1. So it doesn't make you completely invulnerable, but it does make things a million times easier. Now very quickly about the orb, it's an item that you pick up and fire to shoot enemies, and it comes from the Eye of Riven, but you can also use its super ability to slam onto the boss, and doing so consumes it. Now according to the death screen, there's an interrupt mechanic in this fight, which I imagine is tied to using this item to interrupt Shuro Chi's song. However, during our time testing, it didn't seem to work, or at least wasn't very effective. So we found that we didn't actually need it at any point during the encounter to defeat the boss. If I discover a better use for it, or the intended use, I will be sure to pin the comment down below, but for the purposes of this guide and of the completion, at least for our team, it simply wasn't necessary. So, back to the fight. Clear out the enemy waves, and then upon doing so, 3 crystals will spawn on these plates around the boss. Now at this point, a message will come up to say that Shuro Chi's tempo quickens, and that timer now starts counting down at an accelerated rate, and you need to break her shields to stop this. What you need to do is nominate 3 people to be the crystal bearers. They stand on the plates and jump on and use their fire button to shoot a laser at each other to form a triangle. We always fired the person to our right. This isn't necessary, but it's just the way we've done it. So in this situation, I fire the laser at Willis, he shoots it at Paradise, and Paradise shoots it at me. And after a couple of seconds, Shuro Chi's barrier will break and we can commence damage. Keep in mind, standing on the crystal platforms will hurt you, so don't jump on before your team is ready. Count it down, synchronize, and if done correctly, you'll likely only lose around half health. With her barrier down, pile everything you have into the boss. You'll notice that the health bar is split into chunks. This is one of those fights that has gated damage, so you're essentially building up to that threshold. If you don't do enough damage, she'll wipe you, but if you do, then she'll move on. Now keep in mind, all whilst this is happening, your timer is going to go down, so you need to keep it moving. Carry on working around the room, taking out the ads. After the first damage phase, there'll be more thrall, more knights, and an ogre at the back. I suggest killing the ogre last, since once it's dead, it triggers the next wave of ads, so ideally you want to be around the corner by then. Continue to clear ads until you reach the next boss platform, and repeat the process. Once all the ads are dead, the crystals will spawn, and the tempo begins to speed up again. So jump on, fire at a triangle, break the barrier, deal enough damage to hit the threshold, and she'll move on. Now, there's 2 damage phases per floor, so with this complete, you are now entering the first puzzle room, as we refer to it. When you walk in this room, there's a 3x3 grid of plates on the bottom of the floor, and they correspond to the images on the wall. Note that the orientation of the plates is based on facing the image. You'll look at the wall and you'll see that there are 4 squares missing from the image, so it's up to you and your team to stand on the corresponding plates to fill in the gaps. A couple of things you need to know. Firstly, the plate hurts you, so you can't be on there for too long. And secondly, if you jump on a plate and then get off for some reason, you can't then get back on that same plate in that same phase. So organisation here is incredibly important. Since you have a fire team of 6, have 2 people focused on ad clearing since there are enemies in this room, including taken phalanxes who like to boop you off the plates. Then organise with your team 1, 2, 3 and 4 and have people call out a plate, stand by it, and then all jump on together. Now keep in mind, by this time in the fight, by the time you enter this room, you'll likely only have about a minute left on your timer, so you do still need to be relatively quick. Upon standing on the plates, the image will fill in, and when it completes and the circle gets big, you can jump off. But there are 3 images. The first one is to the left as soon as you enter the room, the rest go clockwise. So upon getting off the platforms, turn right. Now remember that the orientation is based on facing the image, so the front row will always be closest to the picture. Additionally, remember that if you jumped on, say, the middle platform for the first puzzle, you can't then jump on that same platform for the next one. So keep in mind the last one that you stood on so you can move around accordingly. Complete this puzzle in the same way, then turn to the right and complete the third one, and if done correctly, the platforms above you will move down, allowing you to jump up to the second floor. Now it's a case of repeating the process. Upon going outside, there will be more ads, knights, thrall, the usual suspects, kill all of them, move up to the boss, use the crystals to take down a shield, deal more damage, and then move on. Right after this third damage phase, ads will spawn almost next to you, so I suggest pulling back to regain some ground, but also keep in mind that upon beginning this second floor, you are once again on a new timer, so while you don't want to rush things to the point of getting yourself killed, you also don't have all the time in the world. Push forward, dealing with the ads, repeat the boss phases as before, and again, after 2 damage rotations, you'll be at the second puzzle room. This works the exact same way, so organise your team again, jump on the plates to fill the spaces, do this for all 3 images, and then climb the platforms to the third and final floor. I cannot stress enough how important it is to have people clearing ads in those rooms. We had a couple of titans with solar hammers, they did a really good job, because if you don't have that done, then it makes standing on the platforms incredibly difficult, especially when you consider that they do hurt you in the process, so having to deal with that on top of ads is just an unnecessary annoyance. Anyway, this final floor once again behaves the exact same way, more ads, but there's a lot more knights and some ogres, so be relatively careful. Make good use of healing rifts and radiance wells to push up safely. On this floor you have another 2 boss damage phases, complete these and the fight is over. So as you can see, there's a fair few moving parts. Once you get into a routine, it's not too bad, but the bottlenecks here will of course be power level. If you and your team aren't high enough, you will struggle to kill fast enough, and then the timer mechanic is of course going to make it difficult, if not impossible. Additionally, I can't stress enough just how important some of those healing wells are. It allows you to be a little bit more reckless and stand your ground rather than having to duck and hide behind cover all of the time. It's a fight that requires organisation, communication and speed, but pull that off and you're on your way to the third boss encounter. But that, my friends, is it for this video. Hopefully you found it useful. Be sure to keep it locked as I'll have more Destiny 2 content coming your way very soon. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to check out some more awesome stuff from us here at Arekkz Gaming, then you should definitely try to catch 269 and Paradise Central streaming 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. They play a wide range of games, and what's more, we also have the Endgame store. By watching their streams, you earn currency, and you can redeem that currency on the Endgame store for really cool prizes. Those can range from things like games, comics, and figures, all the way up to controllers, capture cards, and even consoles. So definitely drop by and become part of the community. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure you're subscribed and be sure to click on that little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss our next upload. You can watch more videos by clicking on the options here, but once again, thanks very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.